Dun, 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 dun. Let's not get the channel struck. Hello, everyone. Let's make sure what we're doing is on screen. You know, a single great armada, it's an interesting thing that you mentioned that. Because we have an idea that we've been kicking around for a little while on our Etsy store for basically, like, what do we do with the prints that kind of failed, but didn't, like, super all the way fail? So we've been collecting a pile of prints, such as this whole mess of gross, failed C9979s. And we're kicking them around with the idea that we're going to list those on Etsy so that someone who wants to buy a cheap piece of wreckage could buy it. So, real quick, this is the Paint Pals Paint Studio. It's a 3D printable paint rack. We're thinking that we might put these on Etsy. The merchant license for them isn't all that expensive, so we're thinking about it. But we're going to move that out of the way because it's not the main reason we're here. Right? The main reason we're here is to talk about this. Now, let's review what this is. This is the Bellator Star Dreadnought. This model was designed by Ethan Leroith. We sell it with license on Etsy. And the giveaway is for a copy of this ship that is unpainted and unassembled. It comes with a dual stand, the same kind of stand that you would get with a Mandator 2 in our shop. Similar, it's the same, but with an extra accessory piece as the SSD stand. The stand itself is a combination of these guys, these 3D printed Armada stands from Utar Games and Designs, and that's what we're giving away today. This month, the month of May, has been fabulous, and we're super excited to talk about what's going on in June. For one thing, we are finally bringing squadron stands and Armada scale squadrons to our Etsy store. We're going to have 6 different stands. We're going to sell them in 3-packs, and then we're also starting to list our massive collection of Star Wars fighters that we have from O'Neill Creations. We have some from Ethan Leroith, and then we also have some from the Slightly Used Spaceship Yards. This is an example of a paint stick that we're going to be offering in our store very soon. And you can see on here there is official TIE Advanced. We have a O'Neill Creations TIE Scout. We have a broken HAF 250 from Slightly Used Spaceship Yards. And I'm pretty sure these TIE fighters are from O'Neill Creations, as well as the Naboo Starfighter and the TIE Punisher. We're going to have these 4 of them in the store, where one will have the Rebel Starbird, And then I actually have some samples of them. Here, this is the Old Republic symbol and the CIS symbol, and then the Empire symbol. Roundel, I think, is what they're actually called. So we'll be offering those at some point. So those are the things. Those are the I think, starships that we've got going on. In addition to the Bellator, or excuse me, in addition to ships like the Bellator, we're now evaluating what we're going to give away in June. It's going to be one of two starships, either a Secutor class supercarrier, or however they chose to quantify or classify the Secutor, or an appropriately scaled resin engine Executor class. Now this one is the original scaling of the Executor from resin engine, and it's not quite long enough. Really, it's, even when it's scaled correctly, the same length. It's not as wide as the official one, but it's still a fantastic little starship. So it's either going to be the Executor or the Secutor. O'Neill Creations still hasn't released their Lucre Hulk yet, so that'll happen when it happens. But that's what we're considering today, or for June. That video will go live on the 15th, and then you'll have from the 15th to the 30th at noon to enter. We're also going to continue with our release of the Narn starships. We have a couple more to prototype, and then we'll go from there. So we have the Narn Dagkar missile frigate. So far, this is the Narn Nanakatak Varnik mine ship. We have the Jaquan class heavy cruiser, which is the ship that you see most often in Babylon 5. And we also have the Bintok class Dreadnought. We still need to print out a Taloth and a Thanor and the fighters, but the Narns will be coming to the Etsy store pretty soon as well. So that is, I think, all the self-promotion we're going to do. June is going to be the month of fighters on the Etsy store, so hopefully that'll be something that interests y'all. But we are here specifically to talk about giving away the Bellator Dreadnought, which looks like this when this works. You don't, when you're giving what do you mean, Shadowcat? When you say it's just the shipping to the UK? Yeah, Dustin, you're gonna have that option in the future if you want to. The idea is that where our normal listings on Etsy are, you can return those, you can get refunds on them, and there's free shipping. What'll happen with the damaged or destroyed ships, and we'll have categories for small, which will be a group of small ships. It'll be medium ships, it'll be large ships, and then it'll be huge ships. And we already have like 3 or 4 ships that's going in the huge category. And that'll be the Bellator, the Secutor, the Mandator, and the Subjugator. Those are the 4 ships that we currently are holding on to that are misprints. And they'll be very cheap, but you'll have to pay for shipping, which international customers already do. But if you're in the US, you don't have you don't have that. Shipping is, it depends. So the way that Etsy has done shipping for ships, I just shipped a huge order to where is that? Hong Kong. And hi, Nikolai. Etsy quoted the customer $75 for shipping, but it actually only cost $44 for shipping. So I'm assuming that any shipping overage that they charge gets refunded. I actually don't know how that works at all, but we can figure out shipping at some point. All right, so on the screen we are looking at our YouTube page, and I've tried to resize this so it's legible, and this is as good as it gets until I know actually what I'm doing. So as we do with all of our giveaways, we're going to read all of our giveaways, and then we're going to use YouTube Random Comment Picker from commentpicker.com to choose a winner. That's supposedly randomized, so we'll figure it out. But we have 48 comments on this video, so it's going to take just a little bit of time. So let's run through that real quick. So first and foremost, Astraus says, my absolute favorite ship from non-Star Wars sci-fi content is the Pella from The Expanse. The franchise generally catch me with its realism, and the Pella combines the awesome design features of all MCRN ships in High Xenon in one whole. The Pella is awesome, and because we have a agreement with Martin Teichel, and he just finished modeling up his version of the Pella, eventually you'll be able to buy every MCR ship that you see, from the Scipico Africanus all the way up to the Donager. So that'll be exciting. The Pella is probably my favorite non-hero ship in there, but I don't know. It's hard to say between the Pella and the Donager, which we'll talk about here more again. Yo boy Koisan says, my favorite ship that isn't from Star Wars would have to be the Pillar of Autumn. And from Halo, the Pillar of Autumn and the Autumn class, which is later ships that they talk about in the generation, or the generational changes that the UNSC makes in their ships. They're just awesome ships. The way the honeycomb design helped mitigate damage has always been a cool concept to me. Plus the modifications Cortana made to the ship, like the upgrading Mac, makes it one hell to be forced to be reckoned with. Yeah, it's the Infinity is probably my favorite ship in Halo, but the Pillar of Autumn is definitely number 2. All right, so Henry Rodriguez said, favorite non-Star Wars ship? Oh, baby, it's the Donnie from The Expanse. It's just a beautiful and massive ship. Truly amazing seeing it in battle with its point defenses, realistic-ish missile combat, and those kinetically overpowered railguns that literally are too powerful for the ships. Also, can I just comment how much I love the Bellator's model? It's one of the few Star Wars ships that actually has visually identifiable turbo lasers or weapons in general. Love that ship. Noah Doyle got in there and said the Donagers were beasts and got dirty in their first appearance. And I responded, of course, I think the Donager class got dirty with basically every time they were on screen. Shadowcat, they're coming. I have all of them. I just need to get them up. I currently have, I think, available... I have, I think, 77 listings on Etsy right now, and that includes 2 sets of stands. But I still have another 40 or 50 ships that I need to list of ones that people like Xenon in chat and O'Neill Creations have made, as well as a list of ships from Ethan Leroith and Martin Teichel. There's too many to list, and it takes a long time for me to get up and list them. But they'll come out eventually. Octur Memory said, my favorite ship outside of Star Wars would probably have to be the Nostalgia for Infinity from Revelation Space Series, carrying a cache of Planet Cracker super weapons, cool ship name, massive size, sleek design, a nano forge capable of printing pretty much anything and large enough to hold on an onboard forest. The only drawback is the cybernetic plague it's carrying. You can't have everything. Alright, so we got to look this ship up because I've never heard of the Nostalgia for Infinity. So let's go in here. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I think I'm a fan of that. Yeah, okay. So that was the nostalgia for Infinity. Cody said, fantastic print. I'd say my favorite ship would be the Pillar of Autumn, the Halcyon class light cruiser. A lot of nostalgia there. Hope your channel grows after this. Cody, thank you so much. Fenrir Helvetier. Oh, for me, my favorite non-Star Wars ship has to be a tie. I love the Forward Under Dawn, the Charon class frigate from Halo 3, or the Autumn from Combat Evolved and her successors. But I absolutely love the Yamato from Star Blazers. Just absurdity and beauty of the ship. Scion Bloodbane, who, by the way, has been a huge force for the homebrew community in Star Wars Armada, basically since Armada came out, back from the old FFG days, said, my favorite non-Star Wars ship is the Agamemnon from Babylon 5. I don't think any series captured the Age of Sail style fleet engagement transferred to a sci-fi setting. And the Omega is got to be my favorite Babylon 5 ship, although the Jaquan, the Narn ships are probably my second favorite. Duck Wang says, for me, one of my lists of favorite ship would be the Event Horizon ship from the Event Horizon. The aura it's emitting was perfectly haunting. Even its silhouette, you can feel its eerie and enigmatic presence. TARDIS from Doctor Who would also be a runner-up for me, if that is considered a starship. I suppose that is a starship? Maybe? I mean, it flies in space. David Brooks said, almost forgot to enter. I've been watching and rewatching the reveal vid for weeks, lol. A single great armada. Hey! He's in chat. I love the totally imposing design of the flagship Draconia from Buck Rogers. Almost like a little Klingon design. I think we need to look at the Draconia real quick. I've seen it before, but it's just... It's a crunchy looking ship. And it's interesting. It does kind of has a Klingon or Kilrathi or some kind of vibe to it. It's a cool looking ship. George Chen said, my favorite has to be the Infinity from Halo. Presents a leap in technology with its sleek design and railguns. And the scene in Halo 4 where it rams the ship is so beautiful. There is an animated movie on the way for Babylon 5, and I have no idea what to expect from that. I will try and avoid any spoilers whatsoever. But the fact that JMS is involved in it speaks very well of it. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to reload real quick. David Brooks said, my favorite non-Star Wars ship has to be the Turian capital ships from Mass Effect. Love those long angular lines with wings, very Star Wars-esque. The Turian ships are pretty cool looking. At one point I had printed some Turian ships from a mod, and they're fantastic looking ships. Yeah, there's a Turian Dreadnought. Let's go back to the comments on here. Cleaner Corn said, my favorite non-Star Wars ship is the Covenant Assault Carrier from Halo. It looks a really cool ship. Alexander Wilkins said, I have to go with the ship used in Alien Isolation, the Nostromo. I don't think the Nostromo's in Alien Isolation, but I do know that the Sevastopol station is in Alien Isolation. But maybe that's just nitpicking. Cyrus said, why are you not... Did we skip? Oh, dang it. Hold on. Where were we? We read George Chen. Noah Doyle said, it's good looking sculpt and print. Favorite non-Star Wars ship. There's several at the top of the list. Let's go with the Conestoga class assault carrier from exemplified by the USS Sulaco. It hits a sweet spot between hand-wavy tech and realism. And the blocky design is well in my aesthetic wheelhouse. You know, it's interesting because the Conestoga, like if you read the details on the Conestoga class, like it's not like there's I mean, there are big governments, there are different governments in the Alien universe, especially if you read the Aliens RPG. There's lots of different things, but no one's engaging in that kind of warfare. Those Conestoga class ships they're not built by a Navy. They're built by a company, and they do see combat, but specifically the Sulaco, I think, has had a ton of bad luck to it. It's very interesting when you look at the expanded universe of the Aliens universe on how that handles starship combat, because there really isn't any of that in there. But good comment, Noah. Apollyon 1221 said favorite starship outside of Star Wars is the Klingon Bird of Prey from Star Trek. Had a great design, awesome green paint job, always felt so unique. Plus, it could turn invisible. Love that thing. Yeah, I think Klingon ships hit hard for me, probably because I remember when I was a kid. Was it Kenner? Had the no, I think it was Playmates. Star Trek ships. Yeah, it is Playmates. So I remember when we were all kids, our parents had bought my younger brother the Enterprise D, my older brother the Dideridex, and me the Vorcha. And man, I loved those ships, and I think to this day, Klingon ships are probably my favorite non-Star Wars ship. Great comment, Apollyon. Codex of Wisdom. Wow, that's a pretty sculpt. While I don't play Warhammer 40k, the top Gothic design is beautiful, so I'd probably say those ships are my favorites in non-Star Wars. Yeah, it's funny that he said it, because I've been a patron of. Let's just switch over the camera real quick. I've been a patron of Soulforge Studios for a long time, and they produce wonderful sculpts for Battlefleet Gothic, or IP adjacent to Battlefleet Gothic. This is their battleship-sized Gloriana class, where they have a Gloriana class that's in its true scale, and it's about this big. And I've shown it on my channel before, but this one is also very awesome. I do agree, the 40k ships, all of them, whether it's the Imperium of Man or anybody else, all of those ships have a wonderful crunchy aesthetic, from the beautiful sweeping curves of the Eldar to the crunchy held together by duct tape orc ships, or the Necron ships, or the Tau ships, whether you're looking at the Expeditionary Fleet or the commercial fleet. All of the ships from Battlefleet Gothic and from 40k in general have gorgeous, wonderful views. They get a little weird with scaling, but man, it's different. It's different, we'll say that. Codex of Wisdom, thank you for that. Ardent Academic said, my favorite non-Star Wars ship is the Super Dreadnoughts and the Honorverse by David Weber. I actually have a... Do I have it here? Yep. So I've been hoarding STLs for every kind of spaceship since I started 3D printing in 2018. So if there's ever been a 3D model produced for it, it's likely that I have it. And here we have a regular Super Dreadnought from Honor Harrington that's just had some stuff done to it. And then here is supposed to be a pod lane Super Dreadnought, like the Harrington class from the Honorverse. And the ships, they look like Marinerades, but damn, those books are amazing. I just finished reading all 14 of those books, of the main books, and they're probably my favorite science fiction series of books to read. A Nerd's Nerd said, love the Bellator. It's my favorite Star Wars ship since I first saw it. For non-Star Wars ships, do Space Fighters count? If so, the Xerxes from Battletech is probably my favorite. If not, the Argo from Space Battleship Yamato. Let's look at the Xerxes real quick, because Battletech has... I'm a fan of the Black Plants Legion. On YouTube, so that's where I get all my Battletech lore, but they don't really talk about capital ship combat in there. Yeah, that's a good looking fighter. Yeah, Yeah, I could see that. And he also talks about the Argo, and I don't know if the Argo is specific. Does that just look like a wet battleship in space? Oh yeah, but that's gorgeous, man. The Lost Fleet books would be great. I read I think the first 5 books right when they get to Allied space, and then I didn't realize that there were like 10 more books to go from there. I don't know if there are any Lost Fleet books out or ships out there, but that would be a pretty cool thing to see. All right, let's go back. Mr. Kitty says, my favorite non-Star Wars ship is probably the Eldar Voidstalker from Games Workshop, and this is what we were talking about. The Eldar ships are really good looking. So if we go in here, we're gonna have to, yeah. See, look how awesome that ship looks. It's bumpy. It's awesome. Alex Henry in chat says, looks similar to the fighters from Stargate. Yeah, it does kind of look like the Death Glider and the F-302. All right, so getting back to the comments because we got so many more. Actually, we're almost done. Okay, so my favorite non-Star Wars ship was the Voidstalker from Games Workshop Battlefleet Gothic game. I used the large Elder Fleet, but fortunately it went missing many years ago. Mr. Kitty, if you want to get back into it, there is a very active... the Sister Paradox. Shadowcat, I'll write that down and I'll look into that. If you're looking for those ships specifically, like I said, Soulforge Studios on My Mini Factory and on Patreon has a fantastic selection of ships. And the Battlefleet Gothic community actually is very active still, even though their game went out of print a very long time ago. And if you don't want to get into that, the one-page rules FTL or Warfleet, I can't remember what they're calling it now, that is a wonderfully simple rule set to play. But I mean, when you get into Battlefleet Gothic, wasn't complicated either, so it's either way. Okay, so Copex, I'm not saying that right, but I'm not going to correct it. Said, my main love is all the Republic and Empire ships, but for non-Star Wars, it would have to be one of the ships from Stargate, probably tied with the Atlanteans and Aurora-class battleship, or the BC-304. I actually just happen to have... This is the Martin Teichel BC-304. Let me see if I can get this in a better view on the camera. And we have a license to sell this, as well as the Lantean ships too, so you might see that in the future from us. But I agree. The Lantean ships are, all of them, I mean, you only see like 3. You see the Aurora, you see the smaller, slightly smaller cruiser that the Aurora is, that's kind of based on the Aurora, and then you see the little, I don't know if it's a frigate or if it's a corvette, but it's small enough to go into the atmosphere and it's Stargate Atlantis. All of those ships look really good, including the Atlantis itself, because that's a ship, man. That's a ship. Okay, so Grant Herbert says the Destiny, the Stargate seed ships from Stargate Universe was rather cool and a super interesting concept. Got to be one of my favorites. I agree. I think MGM did Stargate Universe dirty, and you know that was an interesting time in television, so I can understand why they made the decisions they made. But I understand that the council has made a decision, but I'm going to ignore that decision, as it were. Okay, so Tweens 1009 says, I think after much consideration, my favorite ship would have to be the Battlestar Galactica, either classic or the more recent version. And yeah, I have to agree. I love both of those ships. I have the Deadlock Galactica, so there are many nice detailed models for free on Thingiverse or other sites for Battlestar Galactica. And but I have the Deadlock version that still has all the armor plates on it, and I think Battlestar Galactica is probably the prettiest ship in science fiction. Chris St. Martin says, ever since I saw her, I fell in love with the NX-74205, the USS Defiant, fast, slink, powerful, none of the science and exploration stuff. For this beast, all teeth. Alex, what 3D printer did you end up buying? And in fact, anyone in chat, if you have a 3D printer, tell me what 3D printer you have and if you like it. Because I've spent thousands of dollars and 5 years now getting into 3D printing, and I'd love to know what decisions other people have made along that line. Maybe someday we'll put a video or just a live chat talking about 3D printing, because like I said, I've spent a lot of money on a lot of crappy 3D printers and some really good 3D printers, and I'd love to hear about other people's experiences. Yes, the Defiant is a wonderful ship. I think I have one. Do I have one here at my painting desk that I can show off real quick? I know I do. I mean, in the garbage, oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, let's put this on chat. So, when I'm printing starships for non-Star Wars stuff, I generally try to keep a consistent scale, mostly in... Whoop. Whoop. There we go. This is a 1 in 4,000 scale USS Defiant, and when I print starships outside of the Star Wars universe, I try to keep consistent scales in those universes. So all the Babylon 5 ships I want to be the same scale. That doesn't always work, but that's what my main goal is. All the Star Trek ships that I have, I want to be in the same scale. I'm trying to see if I have any others real quick here that I could show off. Oh, here is a custom design that's supposed to be kind of the Nebula, but built in the Ambassador era. And those are to scale. Here's the USS Parliament. That's in scale. Of course, the Cerritos, the California class, those are in scale with each other. Yeah. All right, so scale's kind of important, but kind of not. All right, so reading the chat, let's see here. Noah Doyle said, maybe it's because I've started Armada lately, but the Imperial class ISD is close to my heart. The Sulaco might be ahead of it. Noah answered the question about 3D printers, the Mars 3. You know what? The Mars 3 is an amazing 3D printer. My first resin printer was an OG Anycubic Photon, and that printer was okay. And then I had I bought the Saturn, and then I bought, I have a Anycubic Photon Mono, and now the two ships that we use in our resin printing farm are Saturn 2s, but the Mars 3 is, I think, it punches really hard. It punches way above its weight class. I would say the Mars 3 is the Defiant of the resin 3D printers. Alex Henry, you said you got it the Ender 3. It's fine, but I cannot for the life of me get it to print properly. I basically given up at this point, and you know what? I have had two Ender 3s. I have a CR10. I have a Mingda Magician X. Don't give Mingda any money. Their printers are shit. But the two printers that we chose to put in our print farm when we decided to open up the print farm for everybody was the Bamboo Labs P1P, and that's an expensive printer when you look at those other printers. In fact, those printers are the most expensive printers we have out of all of our printers, but they're amazing. Like, their two are going right now. That paint rack that I showed off at the beginning of the stream, I'm printing another one of those right now, and it's going to take about 4 hours between the two printers to print another set of those paint racks. They're amazing ships. Or, excuse me, they're amazing printers. The problem... Codex of Wisdom says, I have a Photon for my resin. It's pretty nice, but a friend also has one that has a hard time getting replacement parts for it. That brings up an important thing about resin printing, because I have an OG Saturn. I bought the Saturn when it was for pre-order, and I had some problems with linear rails on it because I keep them in the garage, so they're exposed in the Houston heat and humidity the entire time. And I went to order a new set of rails from Elegoo, and they don't make them anymore. That's a problem with printing in general and resin printing specifically, that you are at the whim of, these are tinkering machines, and you are at the whim of manufacturers whether or not they want to support those parts. Now, your friend Codex probably could still find parts for the printer, but he may have to go to AliExpress or Chitu Systems themselves for replacement parts if they're having problems finding them through Anycubic. All right, let's get back to starships. That's why we're here, right? Okay, so Old Owl says the battleships from Battlestar Galactica, space combat carrier, orbital bombardment, central base of a fleet. It fills the same role as the Star Destroyer. It fills the same role as the Star Destroyer. It's about the same size as the Star Destroyer, especially when you look at the Mercury class battle stars. And I think they're better, especially like when you consider a Mercury class specifically. That's about 1,700 meters, so it's a little bit longer than an ISD, and it has the capacity to build more fighters to replace ones that are lost in battle. That's pretty awesome. Let me get some water in here. Dustin, I see you were in chat here a little while ago. I always enjoy the ships from Gundam. My favorite is possibly the Albion from Gundam 0083. Let's look that up. Let's take a look at the Albion. The Albion is an interesting looking ship, and yeah, I mean the Gundam is cool because you get to see huge scale fleet combat. Same thing with Gundam, and I think Battleship Yamato. They're not my favorite things, but they're still awesome. Okay, so let's keep going. My wife's giving me the nods. David Brooks, we read you earlier, but we're going to read it again. My favorite non-Star Wars ship has to be the Turian capital ships from Mass Effect. Love those long, angular wings. Jonas Willie. Oh man, this looks awesome. Would like to include it in a friendly game list. And I had to ask him, hey, you can comment anything you want on our videos, but if you're in the... if you're commenting on our giveaway videos, comment the thing to get you to enter. If you're going to comment, throw it in. So I reminded him, what's your favorite non-Star Wars ship? And he said the D'Deridex class. Man, the D'Deridex class is so sleek. Not sleek, it's not sleek, but the curves are beautiful, and it's menacing, and it's huge. Alex Henry said probably the Daedalus from the Stargate franchise. Such a cool design. Cannot disagree with that there. Taubimit Brat 09. I apologize for mispronouncing your name if I did. The Bellator is a really beautiful triangle for a non-Star Wars ship. The Caterpillar from Star Citizen. I have not seen a bunch of the Star Citizen ships. I'm wary of RSI, so. But yeah, it kind of looks like a space truck. It's a cool looking ship, though. I could see the appeal. Okay, so Plague of Shadows said I had my eye on this one. My favorite non-Star Wars ship is the Battlestar Galactica. It's a good answer. The what is this? The Morigi Dreadnoughts from Sword and Stars. Let's look at this up. Let's look at this and see if we can get a good concept of this. I don't know if that's a clear... The windows that I'm looking at are kind of small for the scaling for the text, but sure. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Wyatt, thank you for the comment. Nikolai Van Etveld. I goddamn love the Bellator design. It's so true. It's both novel and quintessential. Nikolai, do you have a favorite non-Star Wars ship? Okay. All right. So, We read that one from Alexander Wilkins. Christopher Generalis, my favorite non-Star Star Wars ship is the Battleship Yamato. Pretty much all the ships from that show. Gamer8567 said, I have way too many inside and outside of Star Wars lore, or Star Wars I love. Mostly the bigger the better. The Climbers from Glenn Cook's Passage. So let's look at this. Do they have a representation of that? Kind of. That's like a classic 50s, 60s, 70s album art. Who doesn't love a good stub story in space plus all the hard science in that book? Then another one from the books The Dragon Never Sleep, the guard ships. Let's see what this is about. I like this because it introduces me to things that I don't am not familiar with. Nikolai Van Velt said the Retributor class from 40K. Okay, I get it. All right. Growing sentient, crewed by the dead and clones of the dead to enforce order of the creators. That's pretty awesome. Ooh, Shadowcat. That's a good... So, are you a Titan fan or are you a USS Titan A fan? I was talking to my wife about that, and I don't know if I like the Titan A. It's a weird concept. Grand Admiral Thrawn, my favorite non-Star Wars ship has to be the Eternal Crusader, which is the fortress monastery of the Black Templars. Yes, please. That's another one of these. I believe it's a Gloriana class that's been... Oh, it's so good. It's not a Gloriana class, it doesn't look like, but it's definitely got the Space Marine chapter battle barge front to it, and that's a good looking ship. It's good. Dr. Boring, my favorite non-Star Star Wars ship would be the UNSC frigate from Halo. There's 3 different versions of it. One in Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo Reach. Probably my favorite is the Halo Reach, the Paris class. Paris class is a good looking ship, man. Xenoc said the Valkyrie from Titan AE. That movie is a forgotten gem. You know what? I absolutely agree. It's a great movie. Cyrus reread you. No. Did we? The Retaliator from Star Citizen? I don't know if we read that. Let's see here. Said you might catch flack for that. Let's see if that's accurate. No, that's a good looking ship, man. Yeah, that's a good looking ship. There's no flack there. Guillaume Barnaby. That's probably not how you pronounce your name, but my favorite right now are the floating cathedral spaceships from Warhammer. Shadowcat responded, not the A, the one that Riker left the Enterprise for. Yes. The Luna class Titan is gorgeous. I'm watching Lower Decks again. And yeah, it's a fantastic ship. All right, so Cleaner Corn, we read your thing already. Is Covenant Assault Carrier. Patrick, I'm not going to pronounce your last name. I'm not good at it. My favorite non-Star Wars ship is the Spirit of Fire in Halo. It's just so... the ship is just awesome. You know, the Spirit of Fire, the idea behind it is just such a gorgeous looking ship. It's a colony ship. It's a battleship. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. Defiant from DS9 comes from JG727. It's a good ship. The Defiant. Here's another one. Thrawn Blaze says the Defiant's his favorite non-Star Wars ship. William Anderson said the Argo from Space Battleship Yamato. The Wave Motion Gun. Yeah. UNSC Stalwart class. Is the Stalwart... Am I thinking the Stalwart or the Strident? Which one goes in the Infinity? I'm pretty sure that's the Strident, but let's take a look at the Stalwart. Yeah, the Stalwart is a good-looking ship, man. Look at that. It's a gun! It's a gun they put engines on. And that describes about 3/4 of the ships that you get from Halo. Dustin in chat says the giant prow rams on the Imperium 40K ships look awesome. I love how ornate they look. Do I have a good representation of one here next to me? I do, but I'm not going to go digging for it because who knows, man. Okay, so that was from Joe Valis. Derek Mercer, my favorite non-Star Wars ship is definitely the Normandy from Mass Effect. Normandy is beautiful. It's a wonderful ship. Good hero ship. The Javelin Destroyer, I had to look this up earlier. So Thomas McKeon says the Javelin Destroyer from Star Citizen, and that's an awesome ship. I don't know how they handle capital ships in Star Citizen, but the Javelin looks like an awesome ship. Nikolai in chat said the fact that the large 40K ships fire cathedral-sized torpedoes is just so crazy, especially when you read that sometimes they're loaded using manual labor. Yeah, the like I said, the scaling in 40K when you go into starships, like all of the armies are too small and all of the starships are too big. It's an interesting dichotomy when you look at the way that authors portray things. It's very cool. Shadowcat in chat said I have the Star Trek ships, Starship Titan, and the Shadow main ship. What's the like the battle crab from when you say the Shadow main ship? Shadowcat, are you talking about the battle crab, or are you talking about something else? Do I have a battle crab laying around here? I'm just surrounded by ships that I'm trying to paint over time. Okay, so Groove Dude, getting back to the entries. Cool giveaway as usual. The Yamamoto class. I think you mean the Yamato class from StarCraft. Those are gorgeous, gorgeous ships. They're wonderful. Dark Minstrel said the Bellator is the superior SSD. Favorite non-Star Wars ship? The All That Glitters from the novel Illegal Aliens. Let's look this up here. Ship. Illegal Aliens. I'm gonna have to find a description of that ship. Dark Minstrel said, I reread the book once every 5 years. Sadly, there's no audiobook version because the paperback cover, when I was told, is held together by tape. Alex Pearson, a good friend of mine, said the Galactica from 1978. That's a good ship. And then Sea Crimson, the RLS Legacy from Treasure Planet. And, if you could combine Age of Sail and Starships at the same time, that's a wonderful, wonderful way to do things. Look at that ship. Look how gorgeous that is. It's pretty. All right, guys. Shadowcat said he was talking about the Battle Crab. Let's look real quick. Do I have a Battle Crab here? Do I have a Battle Crab on my desk? I do not. Sadly. Can't show a Battle Crab to you guys. But, you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, go look it up. Just, don't blame me if you have nightmares from screaming in space battle crabs. All right, guys. So that is all the entries. Thank you very much for everyone who has watched so far. Let's get this done. So here are the rules. If you win, what we would like from you is a screenshot of your comment. And we want to know, we want a screenshot basically showing that you're a subscriber to us. And then we would like you to email us at info@pulsefired.com. Like the channel, pulsefired.com. We want your information so that we can send it to you for free. We'll send it anywhere in the world that the United States Post Office will deliver to. So, let's get this done. According to here, there are 50 comments, and yeah, let's draw this. So, here we go, guys. Hold your breath. Strauss. My absolute favorite ship from non-Star Wars sci-fi content is the Pella from the Expanse. The franchise generally catched me with its realism, and the Pella combines all the awesome design features of all MCR ships in one hole. Ostras, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. We have lots of cool things that are coming out in June. We love to see you in the next one. Remember that everything that we feature on the channel, you can also buy if you choose to. If you come from this stream, use the discount code STARSHIPS10, and that'll give you 10% off anything in our store. Remember, in the United States, you get free shipping. So, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Ostras, please contact us and give us your information so that we can send you your ship. Everybody else, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for participating. I got to get my wife out here because she's texted me and giving me the side eye. Thank you guys. Thanks for making the channel great. Have a great day.